Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are in the very last lap. Hopefully, everyone had some good rest over the holidays. And today we're going to dive into the use of the blocks in Unit 5. Now, before we went off, I had gone ahead and opened up a forum for those who wanted to push ahead, and I think some of you have already done so. Started working on Unit 5, so hopefully this would be a very easy session for you guys. Now, we're going to focus on articles, as I kind of previewed with what I sent to you. I'm going to twin articles with the noun phrases. Our goal here, of course, is to make sure that we get very, very in tuned to what we're using. Now, just a quick look at our calendar. We are at the very end, guys. All right, so in today's class, I'm going to grab a look at articles. I'm also going to add a little bit of noun phrases in there. And then in the next class, we're going to wrap up Unit 5. Now, this particular one is fairly easy because one of the building blocks of our sentences is the article. So we're going to look at definite and indefinite articles and basically how we can use them with our nouns. And then we'll kind of preview the noun phrases and we'll go deeper in next class. Now, the goal of Unit 5 is basically, making sure that you're expressing yourself clearly. All right, so you're going to be using a lot of those things, and you're going to be at the end describing historical places using English. As we go through today, we're going to try to make the best of these two blocks. So as usual, I'll use our time to practice, but we'll also get some volunteers in. And I'm also going to quickly kind of get everyone involved using, of course, what we have been doing here in the clinic. So hopefully everyone's ready, wide awake, and ready to start. Now, when I say articles, I'm talking about those little words in front of our nouns. The definite article, the, is used with many of our nouns. A or an are also used, and these help us to add singularity to our nouns. So we're going to do both of those today. I'm going to start off with the definite article. Let's switch over to English so that we can get some participation. Let's make sure. Dun, 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 dun. Let me double check. Sometimes these pages load, sometimes they don't. And I see some people still joining in. All right, for those who joined, don't forget full names and groups in the chat. All right, it says it's doing it in English, but it's definitely not showing it in English. Let me double check the other page as well. Same. It says it's loading in English, but it's not loading in English at all. Okay, no worries. We're also going to be using other things, right? Now, I'm going to show you guys some examples while I reload those pages. Let me share my other screen. Okay, here we go. I want you guys to think of your trays. When you go into working with patients or practicing, we have lots of things in our tray, right? So sometimes we have mirrors, sometimes we have forceps, cotton, and anesthesia. All of these words are what we call nouns or noun phrases. It's a thing. A noun can be a thing, a place, a person. And to better identify them, we will use some words, these little small ones, in front to help us to break them down. All right. So the first one that's worth mentioning is one of the indefinite ones, a and an. We use a and an for singular nouns, usually when we can identify them as one. All right, usually countable nouns, we use that right before it. All right, so you notice a mirror and an aesthetic. Helps us to identify this is one thing. Some of our singular items don't necessarily need one. If we can't count it, water, cotton, then we generally don't use articles in front of it. Cotton, gauze, wax, really hard to find one little piece, so we don't need any articles there. Now, when something is more specific or identifiable, we'll use a definite article. All right, so we'll say the forceps because you're talking about that one in particular, showing that this thing is super specific. Now, I'll double back and kind of walk you through this one. That's what you're seeing here. When we can identify something as being specific, we put the THE in front of the word. All right. Now, we can also combine it with our prepositions like we've seen before. All right. The main use is for when it's a specific thing, a specific person, or a specific place. For example, restaurants that you like, certain places. We also use it when we are talking about geological regions, mountain chains, seas and oceans, groups of islands, rivers, and countries that are in their plural form. We also make use of it when we are giving certain directions, cardinal points in a country or place, like the south or the west, the east, the top, the bottom. When we are comparing things and we want to point out which one in the group is the highest grade, whether it's positive or negative. In the superlative form, we also use the. And when we are counting in the ordinal way, first, second, third, we also use it. You don't need to use it if you have other types of word that will give you some sort of determination. So if it's already super general, then no. The is going to be used for more specific situations. We are not going to use it when we're also talking about things like the TV or meal times or days of the week, the specific hour of the day, months of the year, seasons, or years and period, because those are not specific. Those would still fall in the category of general. When we use descriptive words of certain institutions like UNAM or the train, we're also talking about them in general, right? So we don't normally say we go to the UNAM. We just say we go to UNAM, right? We also won't need it if we're talking about the names of cities or the names of places in general. If we want to zone in on something super specific within a place, then yes. All right. Now, this is a name of a lake. This is a name of a street. We might specify this lake within another place. All right. But not when it's more general. Switch screens again. And let's get you guys involved. All right. Let's see. Good job. I think almost everyone has put their names and groups in the chat. Good. So this is our first one, the definite article. Both the speaker and listener know exactly which item is being discussed. Usually it was previously mentioned or already identified. See, sometimes you'll see two sentences. I live in the best neighborhood. All right. Before that, you probably have spoken about neighborhoods. All right. For example, I live in Mexico City. I live in the best neighborhood would be the second sentence. And of course, it's super unique, one of a kind when we refer to it, so that we can use the in a very specific way. Some examples of that is the cavity is on the second premolar. The forceps on the tray. Please review the x-ray from last visit. Generally, here we're looking more about specificity, not necessarily singular or plural, because it can be used with both. Now, hopefully you're getting a good idea of this. I think this group has a good amount of views, so let's put it to practice. And of course, if you have questions, do let me know. All right, let me switch screens again. And this time, I'll use the exercises. We'll start with Alessandra. Number one, should we use the or nothing? Alessandra?
Yes, sorry. Uh, that is the restaurant I like best.
Exactly. Of all the restaurants, this is a specific one that you enjoy, right? Carmen.
Mm, this is the Pacific Ocean.
Exactly. The specific one of the big oceans. We have the Pacific Ocean, we have the Atlantic, we have the Indian. So to identify it out of that group, we will use the, right? Daphne.
Yes. Put your name at the top of the page, please.
Exactly. When you're zoning in on a point, whether it's north, south, east, west, top, bottom, we will use the definite article. All right. Next, let's go with Fatima. Number four.
He, he has to say work every day at 8 o'clock.
All right. Work is general, not super specific. Goes to work. Now, if you say to me he goes to the faculty building, you're identifying something specific. But work is a general idea. We don't use it for general ideas. All right, practice with me again. He goes to work every day at 8 o'clock.
He goes to work every day at 8 o'clock.
Good. All right, let's continue with Dante, number five.
My parents watch television every night after dinner.
Exactly. Now, television is also super general. You could use other words if you can make it more specific. For example, my parents watch the news on television every night because news is much more specific. TV, super general. All right? Ugo, number six.
I love the chocolate.
All
I know
right.
I love chocolate.
I love chocolate. Good correction. Because chocolate is super general. When we think of chocolate, we are thinking of many different brands. Now, of course, if you zone in on one particular brand, then you can say that. I love chocolate. I love the Fiero drops. I love Hershey's. You could get very specific, but in general, you don't need the, right? Number seven, Jimena.
She is tallest girl in the class.
Okay, think about a classroom. You have many girls. So if you talk about one, that's specific. When we look at superlative forms or ordinal forms, then you use the to specify which one in the group occupies a certain grade. All right. For the superlative form, it's either the highest grade or the lowest grade. She is the tallest or she is the shortest. All right. She's occupying a space that is in superlative. We also use it to order things. For example, Alexandra was the first person in class, right? Giving order. So we use the to do that work. All right, practice with me again, Jimena. She is the tallest.
She is the tallest girl in the class.
Good. All right. Number eight. Let me go with Mariana.
I go to the school by bus.
Right? School is also super general. You didn't tell me which school. You just talk about school in general. It's same thing for like church or if you're talking about going to any open place, all right? You don't need the for general items. Now, if you tell me that you're going to the dentistry faculty, then you're being specific. But school is pretty general. Practice again with me, Mariana. I go to school by bus.
I go to a school by bus.
Good, right? So if it's general, you don't need the. If it's specific, then we'll use it. All right, let's do some more. Let's go with Fonseca.
Um, I go to school every day.
Exactly. You don't need any article. I go to school every day. I go to the bus station and take whatever bus. I go to the train station and I take the train. But school is super general. All right, let's go with Adriana.
Daily in the United States.
All right, United States will get the. All right, same thing with Mexico. The official name is the United Mexican States. All right, so we're specifying which territory we are talking about. All right, Victor.
The hotel we love in New York.
Do you remember the hotel? Exactly. We love in New York. New York is the general area, but there's one hotel that we love, right? And yes, I do remember the hotel we love. We loved the Ritz-Carlton in Manhattan. Very nice hotel. Very good service. All right. And let's go with Natalia.
The children watch TV after school.
Exactly. Now you could tell me that the children watch the same show every day. That's specifying, but TV, super, super general, right? And number five, let's go with Tanya.
Do you like coffee?
I love coffee. Now, I could tell you that there is some really good coffee in different states, and those states, some of them have chains here in Mexico City. Have you ever tried the coffee from? Um, I think we have one here close to the faculty office. They are from Veracruz, and they have Jarocho, I think is the name of the brand. Decent coffee, nice little vibe. All right, to specify, I could use the, but coffee, super, super general. All right, hopefully everyone is getting and seeing the pattern. Now, as I mentioned, that is used when we're being specific. If we want to just clearly identify something as being similar, one of that item, then we're going to use a or an. Now, a and an, they work just like our articles in Spanish because that particular rule is very clear. You're counting. Is this item countable? Is it one item? Use a or an for those. Now, you're going to use a if it's a consonant sound. And you're going to use an if it's a vowel sound. Now, this might get a little bit confusing because some words in English, they have different sounds than the letters that you see. For example, A, E, I, O, U are vowels, but not every A, E, I, O, U sounds like a vowel. The combination of words means that letters are mixed together to create sounds. And the origin of certain words will make them a little bit different. So, university, Greek word. Euro, also Greek word. Those words from that type of origin also have a similar thing in Spanish as well. All right. Notice they don't even have the same articles in Spanish, even though they're both words with vowel letters. That's because they sound more like consonants. U sounds like the Y, which is a consonant sounds. Euro also sounds like U. Therefore, we use ah because the sound is a consonant sound. And of course, we have some consonant letters that oftentimes will sound more like vowels. H can sound strong, hospital, but H can also sound almost silent or like a vowel sound. Hour, hour, an hour. All right, so when you're seeing vowel sounds, you're going to use an. And when you're seeing consonant sounds, you're going to use H and ah. All right, so try to remember those exceptions. So indefinite articles are going to be used to identify one of something in general, a computer, a school, an orange. We also use it in the place of using the number one. So instead of saying I want one apple and two oranges, I can say I want an apple and two oranges. Instead of saying there is 100 students, I can say there are 100 students in the school. And as I mentioned with the definite article, when we're sequencing stories, the first idea is usually referred to by counting it. All right, so I live in an apartment. The apartment is big. Your first sentence will be mentioned using a indefinite article, and your second sentence can be more specific, a definite article. We also use it when we're talking about certain skills or certain political affiliations, right? So most of you are going to be a dentist very soon if you're not already practicing dentist. A doctor, an architect, a Democrat, a Republican, a socialist, a conservative, all right? We use it that way. So let's dive in. And let's practice also the use of the definite articles. So we have indefinite and we have definite. All right, now I'm going to continue. And this time, let's start with Lalo.
My father is a doctor.
Exactly, talking about a particular, skill or job. Jocelyn.
My mother is architect.
An architect, because A is a vowel sound. All right, practice with me again. My mother is an architect. An architect.
My mother is an architect.
Good. All right, back to you, Alessandra. Number 3.
My sister goes to a university in the north.
Exactly. All right. Even though it has a U as the first letter, university has a consonant sound. All right. Number 4, Carmen.
There is a hotel near here.
All right. A hotel. Hmm. All right. That's one H sound. Number 5, Yvonne. This is another H sound.
He is an honest person.
Exactly. Honest with a stronger vowel sound. All right. Fatima, back to you. Number 6. Are you still there, Fatima?
I'm sorry, teacher. ¿Cuál es?
Number 6.
Have you got an umbrella?
Yes. All right. Daphne, number 7.
Can I have apple?
An apple. Yes, Ugo. Have a question?
No, nada más para participar.
Oh, I'm gonna get there. All right. Dante, number 8.
I have a green apple.
One green apple. Exactly. All right. Now, look at the words, look at the sounds, or practice the sounds, and choose the right one for each situation. Ugo, number 1.
He goes to an university in California.
Right? University. Ah.
Ah,
Again, he goes to a university in California.
he goes to a university in California.
Good. Number 2, let's go with Jimena.
Can I eat an apple?
Yes, you can. All right. Jocelyn. Miss Flores, are you there with us? Okay, maybe something happened to Jimena. Let's continue with Mariana.
There is an excellent film on the cinema.
At the cinema. I hear everyone is loving Hail Mary with Ryan Gosling. Sounds like an excellent film. All right, Fonseca, number 5.
Can you give me an example?
Yes, I can. You're gonna see a lot of indefinite articles in this unit because we're talking about singular items. So, an article is easy to find or choose. They're determiners, little words at the beginning of sentences. All right, Adriana,
The train will arrive in an hour.
in an hour. Notice the H is not strong. It's the O that's doing all the work. All right, good. Let me double back. So, when we think of our articles, in addition to the definite one, we're definitely seeing the indefinite one. When is the first time we're mentioning a singular countable noun? When it's one of many items, but it's not specific as yet. Or when we are talking about something that not necessarily is known by our audience. So the patient has a cavity. Please hand me an explorer. I notice a fracture on arrival. All of these are indefinite articles. Now, there are times when we don't need the article because it's a plural situation that we're identifying when speaking about things in general. If it's uncountable or if it's an abstract noun, then we won't use indefinite articles. And as you can tell, we're talking more about general items that we can't lock down as one. We have like a ball of cotton, a strip of gauze, or multiple plaques on your patient's teeth, then you're not going to be using articles. For example, a pain is a normal post-op symptom. Plaque accumulation near the gum line. Teeth are vital for digestion. Notice how we are zoning in on items that are either uncountable, abstract, or the plural forms of the things that we are mentioning in general. If you think about your day-to-day operations in the clinic or in your studies, you will notice the order of things. Those words that we have been practicing are usually in front of the noun. All right? So a noun is either a thing, a place, or a person. Now, if you can count it, you will use, yes, you guessed it, the indefinite article, one or a molar. Now, you might be describing that molar as severely decayed, and you also tell me the position. So, a severely decayed third molar, right in the back there, probably was pushing up and was also crooked. All right. When we have all of those phrases combined, we call those noun phrases. And that's a part of what you are seeing in this unit 5. You're going to see noun phrases, articles, and the next class we'll look up at some clauses as well. A full noun clause will look like this one, all right? And here I'm switching now to a definite clause, specific. The severely decayed third molar in the lower left quadrant. All right, so if you're looking at my face, I'm talking about left quadrant, third molar. All right, it helps us to be very specific when we are writing our notes or giving our diagnosis or sharing what we have discovered from x-rays or other examination. All right. Now, when you build your sentences, remember Unit 5 is a unit where you will practice. There is a forum. I opened the forum early. Use these bits of the language. All right. We have ways of mentioning very simple sentences, but we can also make it more complex or more detailed. All right. A simple sentence could be, I see a tooth. More concrete or more clear language would add noun phrases. I see a fractured central incisor with severe enamel erosion. The patient has pain. The patient reports a dull, persistent ache in the upper right molar. there is a filling, there is a fractured amalgam restoration on the second premolar. She has an infection. She has a severe peripheral abscess in the lower left third molar, right? As you write in your forums, as you create your entries, think about how you can make things more specific or clearer, right? I'm going to share this so you can practice as examples. And if you've already done all of the work in this unit, then you can go ahead, guys, and grab your first swing off the forum. All right. So go ahead, practice your noun phrases, articles, relative clauses, and relative pronouns. Next class, I'll focus on 3 and 4. And the forum is already there, right? Some of you have already gone in and put in some of the work. All right. Go ahead, guys, practice. And of course, as we are in the last phase, I'll be sending some things to the people. I think some of you have already responded, so that's good. Let me see how much I can help for those who have missed exams or who are just falling behind. And if you are on campus, I'll leave things in the media library as well, so you can stop by, work on things, leave your work there, and we'll work on improving your grade. For some of you would have seen my tracking document. I'll share it with you. I'm going to update it again today with today's attendance, and you will see where you are in terms of progress. And if you want to improve and make sure you pass the course, I'll be providing some ways that you guys can catch up in areas that you don't feel so strong. All right. So go ahead, guys, get busy, start your unit, complete your forum, and I'll see you next week as we focus on wrapping up our clauses, both relative clauses and relative pronouns that we use in general and a little bit specifically with our noun phrases. Remember, the deadline for everything related to Unit 5 is the 21st. So you have about 10 days to get cracking. Try to do things before the deadline, not on the deadline. All right, guys, I'll see you next week and we'll continue practicing. All the best for now and have a good weekend.